Now, this next subject, I'm sure you could fill a whole podcast with, so we'll keep it brief. But T-Bone Walk, that
Yeah.
I remember meeting him, at the in the studio for Thousand Miles of Life,
Yeah.
and I remember he was staring me down, and he thought he knew me. And then after I talked to him and then told him who I was, what my name was, I said, "Today I'm Terry, not T-Bone." And
Right. Right.
he insisted on calling me T-Bone. And every email I got from him after that was always T-Bone. He always said T-Bone. And
Right.
he was just amazing. And he never met a stranger. Everybody he knew was his best friend. Talk to me about him and how important he was to the band.
Can't overstate his importance. And I will say that, I've been around in my life, I've been around so many incredible musicians, but I will say that he is the best musician I've ever been around, hands down, on every level. He was obviously his bass playing, he was legendary, but he was an incredible guitar player, great keyboard player. He was New York State accordion champion when he was like 12 years old. Played Zydeco accordion, and you name it, he could play it. Um, and he was, as you said, everyone was his best friend because he was so down to earth and such a great human being. He just exuded this positive energy, and I never heard him play a wrong note. I don't think I've ever heard him.
Wow.
I know for a fact that I never heard him play make a mistake on bass ever.
Wow.
Not that I ever heard. Um, not live, not in the studio, not ever. And to this day, sometimes when I'm trying to figure out guitar parts and things like that, I'll think, how would he have played this? How would T-Bone have played this? Would he have used a capo? Would he have tuned down, tuned his E string down to D? Would he have, would he finger, what would he, I think about how he would have approached it. And to me, it was the consummate musician. And one of those things, one funny thing about that session, that was my first album in a solo album in Nashville. And, I remember when I was, I was with Bill, the engineer who we used,
Vorndick.
Bill Vorndick, that's right. And Bill's a real old school Nashville engineer. And I was consulting him like, well, hey, Bill, I don't know the players. Who should we get? And he was making a lot of great suggestions on who should play. And he said to me, he said, who's going to play bass? And I said, well, I'm going to bring my bass player T-Bone down. And Bill Vorndick said, I don't know, man. He goes, that might not be a good idea. He goes, these guys, they're pretty, they're amazing players, and they don't like to play with people they don't know. I said, don't worry, it'll be fine. And it was really funny because, of course, they loved him and he was amazing. But after a few days, all these bass players started showing up at the studio. Michael Rhodes and Steve Mackey, they're all like coming and just standing behind the console. And Bill Vorndick, the engineer, goes, "Why are all these bass players showing up?" I said, "They're showing up to see this dude right here because he's a bad mamma jamma." And just one of the greats. I can't say enough good things about him.